Share ಮಾಡಿ.
Hello.
നോട്ടീസ് വരെ മഞ്ഞു ഗോവിന് അയച്ചു കൊടുത്തിട്ടോ. അപ്പോൾ ഈ പ്രോഗ്രാം ഇപ്പോൾ അന്ന് അയച്ചു തന്നില്ലേ വെബിനാറിന്റെ, അതിന്റെ ഒരു കോപ്പി ഗോവിന് അയച്ചു കൊടുക്കും. ഗോവിന് അയച്ചു കൊടുത്തതിന് ശേഷം മതി എനിക്ക്.
Indra sir, welcome sir. Arun Kumar, Tanjavur. Madam, welcome.
അല്ല അതല്ലടാ, നോട്ടീസ്, എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ പോളിസിയുടെ നോട്ടീസ് ഇന്ന് ഗോകുലൊക്കെ അയച്ചു കൊടുത്തില്ലേ? നീ ഇന്നല്ലേ അത് രാജുവിനൊക്കെ അയച്ചു കൊടുത്തില്ലേ?
Chandrasekharan sir.
Sir, sir.
Our cable ஆயிடுச்சா? பிரசன் நோ பட்டன் ஒரு ஷேர் ஸ்கிரீன் இருக்கும்.
ஓ சரிங்க சார்.
அவர் பிரசன் நோ கொடுத்து அவர் ஷேர் ஸ்கிரீன் வந்துச்சு, அப்படியே வந்துச்சு. அவர்கிட்ட இன்ஃபார்ம் பண்ண டெக்னீஷியன் யாராவது இருந்தா பேச சொல்லுங்க சார்.
Aniket sir.
Sir, you can present by clicking present now button and share screen, sir.
Present the button on the tablet share. Yeah.
You click present now button and you have to select either window or share screen.
കേട്ടോ?
You click present now button.
Present now button.
When you click present now button, you get sub menu.
Huh?
Contains your entire screen.
Share has not come. You have to share it, then only I can enable it. You have to enable this.
Anybody can present, sir. No
But
issue.
it is now it is shown as share. We cannot able to click it. Present button മതി എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്.
Sir, whether it is a PPT or it is an audio clipping like that.
It's a PPT.
Can you mail it? I can present it. Can you mail it? I can pin it. Otherwise, you kindly share it with WhatsApp or mail. Be present from here.
Oh no.
Sir, can you someone?
Now it has come. Okay. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Very good. The same thing, sir. Yes, sir. You share your screen and you open the page. Which open the PPT. Now you click the PPT button in the address menu. Yes, we are watching your screen. You click PPT. PPT is there, no?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Whatever you are seeing in your screen, we are watching.
Yeah.
Now you are able to watch your screen, sir.
No, it is okay. Now it is okay.
Yeah, yes, sir.
You proceed. You proceed, please.
Thank you very much, sir.
First, card. രാവിലെ ഫസ്റ്റ് എന്താണ് ഇമ്മീഡിയറ്റ് കരീന Karina ji,
Yes, yes.
Karina ji,
Oh.
if you are free, we can start with
We
your
can
introductory
start. We
address.
can start. Yes.
Yes, madam, we can start.
Yeah. You can hear me now? You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Field Outreach Bureau Coimbatore is organizing a webinar on National Education Policy 2020 today. And as per the instruction from our regional headquarters, New Delhi, and our regional headquarters, Tamil Nadu, we are organizing this webinar. Our DG Satyendra Prakash sir, New Delhi, and our South Zone DG Venkateshwar sir has given the instructions. And our Joint Director, Regional Joint Director, Kamraj sir, is joining us in this National Education Policy 2020 webinar. And as per the instructions of the regional headquarters, Chennai, we have organized this webinar on National Education Policy. Here, first I welcome our Regional Outreach Bureau Joint Director, Thiru Kamraj sir, to this webinar. A young officer, he has joined us before 6 months. He is a good orator, a writer, and he is doing very good activities in Tamil Nadu. He is guiding us in a very good manner, in a very good way, that we are trying to reach each and every corner of this Tamil Nadu state. And I welcome Sri Kamaraj sir to this webinar. Next is our guest speakers is Mr. N. Balagopal, Vice Chairman of P.N. Panikkar Foundation. When I was thinking about calling the guest of National Education Policy, first thing it came to our mind was the campaign, Kerala State. That is, everyone knows that Kerala is a literate state. We have 100% literacy, and I am proud to say his father, Sri P.N. Panikkar, and along with my father also, they have traveled all over Kerala, and it came, they worked very much for this mission, that is the National Literacy Mission, and now Kerala is a literate state. Like that, when education policy comes, I know Sri N. Balagopal, who is having a good working knowledge from different fields, like Nidhi, he is connected with Nidhi Aayog, he is connected, he was the member of the advisory board of NIOS, then he was with the P.N. Panikkar Foundation, then he was with the Kerala Non-Formal Education. He is one of the person who can give us an insight about this National Education Policy on behalf of our regional directorate and our FOB Coimbatore. I welcome Sri N. Balagopal to give a lecture on this National Education Policy 2020. Next was Emalada Keria, who was working with the education field also. He was earlier an NCW member, but she is not able to join us because of her relative's death. She told me that in another webinar she will be joining. And next guest speaker will be Prabhakaran sir, who is the education officer from the Ministry of Labour and Employment. FOB Coimbatore used to coordinate with them for different programs. He is here to give us the points regarding the National Education Policy. Next is the Professor Dharmaraj, Dr. Dharmaraj, who is also very close associate of FOB Coimbatore, and he is here to give us a small presentation regarding the National Education Policy 2020. Then I welcome all our officers. Sri Devi Padmanabhan, who is also from Kerala, he is FOB Field Publicity Officer from Tirunelveli, Trichy. Then AD, Assistant Director Shivakumar sir is there. He is handling the Puducherry region. Then our June Jacob is, she is from Tirunelveli. Then Arun Kumar from Tanjavur. Then Boswell is also from Tirunelveli. Then from Salem, our officer Murali Sanang sir is there. Then from Dharmaburi, Veeramani is there. Then FPO Tanjavur, our Arun Prabhu sir is there. Then our Jay Ganesh from Ramanathapuram, he will be joining us. Then our regional headquarters FPA Murali, who is coordinating this program also, he is there. Our headquarters officer Vidya Raghunathan is there. Then our all over coordinator Shahendra, who is a very good help for us, he is also joining us. And now I hope I have welcomed almost all the things, and I also welcome the participants in this program. And I think we all will join together to publicize and to highlight the good points about the National Education Policy to the public. Thank you all, and I request our Joint Director Sri Kamaraj Jerayan sir to give the presidential address.
Respected dignitaries and friends who have joined here for the National Education Policy, which was recently approved by our committee. So the aim was to fully implement it in the next 20 years. So our chief guest will be detailing about it. We have a very important expert on this topic who is very closely related with the education field, heading another organization. He is vice chairman of this Panikkar National Reading Mission, whereby the motto says, read and grow. And grow. So it's as simple as that. Reading gives us growth. It is exactly coinciding with Swami Vivekananda saying, education is the manifestation of perfection already in man. So this is one important policy which has been framed and which is with us after 34 years. So there has happened behind this policy. A lot has gone into it, and it is a blueprint for making India great global arena. So for school education till date, we are depending on the private educational institutions, whereas in the Tamil Nadu scenario, for higher education, engineering and medical courses, we are depending on the government institutions. It says that enough in a particular system, we will reap the benefits. Unfortunately, due to the multitude of the school education system is not up to the mark. What is relevant in Tamil Nadu, it applies to the whole country. So this particular policy is that address this gap. It is talking about increasing the investment from 1.7% of GDP to 6% of GDP. That is almost lakhs maybe, 10 to 15 lakhs, 15 lakh crores. 10 to 15 lakh crores is what? So it is a welcome change. To put it in a simple words of this committee's chairman who has submitted this draft policy, Shri Kasturi Rangan, he simply said that the education system of our country requires change, not fine tuning. So the requirement what we are intending to do through this policy. So let us hope these discussions will definitely help greatly in the implementation of the policy. I welcome everyone to this webinar and let us spread the word. Let us achieve the perfect implementation of the policy in the coming years. Thanks. Thanks everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now I request the chief guest, Sri Balagopal sir, to give the presentation and the details to the National Education Policy 2020. I am proud to say our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi sir has seen the vision of U.N. Panikkar Foundation, and we have started a reading day also all over India. And in this meeting, I hope these points, the points, we will highlight it and we will take it throughout Tamil Nadu, sir. I welcome Balagopal sir to give the address.
Sir,
Sir,
Balagopal sir.
Balagopal sir.
sir,
Balagopal sir, unmute yourself and present.
unmute.
Balagopal sir.
Phone.
Hello.
Muted.
Me?
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Oh.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yes.
Yes sir.
Okay. Shall I start?
Yeah.
I'm happy that the Field Outreach Bureau of Coimbatore is organizing such a wonderful webinar, highlighting the importance of national education policy and how that can shape the India's image throughout the world. Because as you all know, I must to begin with, I must salute Mr. Kamraj Jairam and my career.
Sir.
Sir.
Unmute ஆயிடுச்சுன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். சொல்லுங்க.
Unmute ஆயிடுச்சு.
No, mute ஆயிருக்குன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். Tell him, call him over phone. If he is connecting from phone, then it's an issue. If it is laptop, fine.
Hello.
Sir, please unmute yourself, sir.
Sir, sir, ask him to join again. Madam? Ask
Yeah.
him to join again.
The phone is coming.
Chandrasekharan sir, can
Sir,
we
சொல்லுங்க.
ask some other person to present some? You talk.
Otherwise, Prabhakaran sir is available.
Prabhakaran sir, kindly start your speech on this new education policy, sir.
for two minutes.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Let's wait for 2 minutes because Mr.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Balagopal, if he is connecting, then we will proceed with him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He was ready much before with the presentation. I don't know what happened in between. Signal issues or what?
Yes. Yes, it seems, sir. Network something issues.
Or someone should be there with him to help him out. In the meantime, our guys are busy chatting in the chat box.
Yes, sir. So many
chats, personal chats. Guys, restrict yourselves. You are visible to everyone.
We're waiting for.
Paranga Chandrasekhar, whether he is getting back or not.
Yeah.
Is he back?
Yeah, he's there, sir. Yeah,
Okay. Find out whether he is there.
He's available in phone, sir.
No. Then he is connecting from laptop or phone.
Laptop, sir. We want to present also some presentation. regarding-
Then tell him to connect from laptop immediately. You should find out who is helping the chief guest actually. Find someone who can help him out. Normally.
So that
That
we
is an
can
easy way to
avoid.
go.
Yes, sir.
Because not every chief guest is comfortable with this technology and all that. So we should help them out. The whole education policy is just talking about this pedagogy. So how to train the teachers first. What is the issue actually, Chandrasekharan?
Sir, madam will talk to. So now he's in Delhi, I think, sir.
Okay. Then you tell madam that we are going ahead with Prabhakaran. Let him come after 15 minutes.
Okay, sir. No problem. Madam. No problem, sir. Prabhavan, sir.
Madam.
Hemalata madam.
He's the main speaker.
Not available, sir.
He's also the main speaker.
Chandrasekharan, you go and say them. We will start with Prabhakaran. Mr. Prabhakaran.
Sir, Prabhavan, sir. Yeah.
Sir.
Hello, sir.
Madam. He's the main speaker.
No, sir. He's not available, sir. He's not available. You can carry out, sir.
Prabhavan, sir, kindly proceed.
Yes, sir.
Right, sir. Welcome to webinar.
வணக்கம் சார். மிக சிறப்பான ஒரு வெபினார் மீட்டிங்கை மத்திய அரசாங்கத்துடைய தேசிய கல்விக் கொள்கை பற்றி மக்களுக்கு கொண்டு செல்வதற்காக மிக சிறப்பான வகையிலே நம்முடைய ஃபீல்டு அவுட்ரீச் பியூரோ என்று சொல்லக்கூடிய மத்திய அரசு துறையானது மிக சிறப்பாக பணியாற்றி கொண்டிருக்கிறது. ஒரு நாடு பணக்கார நாடு என்று எவ்வாறு கணக்கிட வேண்டும் என்றால் அந்த நாட்டினுடைய தனி மனித வருமானத்தை பார்க்க வேண்டும். பல காரணிகள் இருந்தாலும் கூட பணக்கார நாடு என்று சொன்னால் தனி மனித வருமானம் மிக முக்கியமான ஒரு விஷயம். ஒரு நாடு வளர்ந்த நாடு என்று சொன்னால் அந்த நாட்டிலே கல்வி அறிவு மிக முக்கியப்படுகிறது. எந்த ஒரு நாட்டில் கல்வி அறிவு மிக சிறப்பாக இருக்கிறதோ அந்த நாடு வளர்ந்த நாடாக பார்க்கப்படும். அந்த வகையில பார்த்தால் இந்திய நாடு பல வருடங்களாக இந்த கல்வி விஷயத்திலே மிக பின்தங்கிய சூழ்நிலையிலே இருக்கிறது. பழம்பெரும் நாடாக இருக்கக்கூடிய இந்தியாவிலே கல்வியை பற்றி பாரதி காலத்திலே பேசப்பட்ட காலத்தில் கூட இந்த யுகத்தில் கல்வியிலே மாற்றத்தை கொண்டு வருவதற்கு எத்தனை அரசாங்கங்கள் தயங்கி கொண்டிருந்தன. ஆனால் 34 ஆண்டுகளுக்கு அப்புறம் மிகச்சிறப்பான ஒரு கல்விக் கொள்கையை மத்திய அரசு வெளியிட்டிருக்கிறது. இந்த கல்விக் கொள்கை பல விமர்சனங்களுக்குள்ளானாலும் கூட இந்த கல்விக் கொள்கை எதிர்கால சந்ததிக்கு மிகப்பெரிய உற்சாகத்தை தரக்கூடியதாக இருக்கிறது. இன்னும் சொல்ல போனால் இது பல முக்கியமான கருத்துக்களை இதில் சொல்லப்பட்டிருக்கிறது. எல்லோருக்கும் வாய்ப்பு தர வேண்டும், கல்வி அறிவு இல்லாமல் யாரும் பின்தங்கி விடக்கூடாது, வாய்ப்பு தர வேண்டும். சொல்ல போனால் 3 வயதிலிருந்தே கல்வி வாய்ப்பு மிக முக்கியமான ஒரு விஷயம். மேலும் எல்லோரும் எல்லா விதமான கல்வியையும் பெறுவதற்கான வாய்ப்பை தருகிறது இந்த கல்விக் கொள்கை. தொழிற்கல்வி ஆகட்டும், டெக்னாலஜி ஆகட்டும், அறிவு சார்ந்த விஷயங்களாகட்டும், அதை பரிசோதித்து பார்க்கக்கூடிய விஷயமா இருக்க வேண்டும், அனைத்து விஷயங்களும் இந்த கல்விக் கொள்கை தருகிறது. மிக முக்கியமாக புத்தக சுமையை குறைக்கிறது. இந்த கல்விக் கொள்கை மிக முக்கியமான ஒரு விஷயத்தை தருகிறது. புத்தக சுமையை குறைக்கிறது. அறிவை வளர்ப்பதற்கு புத்தக சுமை தேவையில்லை என்பதை இந்த கல்விக் கொள்கை நிரூபித்து காட்டுகிறது. இதை முழுமையாக எல்லா மாநிலங்களும் அமுல்படுத்தினால் இந்தியா மிகச்சிறந்த கல்வியில மிகச்சிறந்த நாடாக இருக்கும். நம்ம எல்லோருக்கும் தெரியும், இந்தியாவிலே கல்வியிலே நாம் பின்தங்கி இருக்கிறோம் என்பது எல்லோருக்கும் தெரியும். 100 உலக அளவிலே மிக உயர்ந்த சிறந்த 100 பல்கலைக்கழகங்களை எடுத்தால் இந்திய பல்கலைக்கழகங்கள் ஒன்று கூட வராது. காரணம், பின்தங்கி இருக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு சூழல். அந்த பல்கலைக்கழகங்கள் ஆராய்ச்சியிலும் சரி, கல்வி தரத்திலும் சரி, எல்லா விஷயத்திலும் மேலோங்கி இருக்கின்றன. நமது பல்கலைக்கழகங்கள் பின்னோக்கி இருக்கின்றன. சலுகைகளை வழங்கி கல்வி தரத்தை குறைத்து விட்ட ஒரே ஒரு காரணம். இந்தியாவிலே பல பல்கலைக்கழகங்களுக்கு, ஆனால் ஐஐடிக்கு முக்கியத்துவம் தரப்படுகிறது. காரணம், ஐஐடி அறிவு சார்ந்த விஷயத்துக்கு முக்கியத்துவம் கொடுக்கிறது, புத்தக சுமையை குறைக்கிறது. புத்தக சுமை சுத்தமாக அங்கே இல்லை. அறிவு சார்ந்த விஷயத்துக்கு முக்கியத்துவம் கொடுக்கிறது, ஆராய்ச்சிக்கு முக்கியத்துவம் கொடுக்கிறது. கொள்கை முழுக்க ஆராய்ச்சி விஷயங்களுக்கும் அறிவு சார்ந்த விஷயத்துக்கும் முக்கியத்துவம் தருகிறது. அது மட்டுமல்லாது, படிக்கின்ற போதே அவர்கள் தன்னுடைய திறமையை வளர்த்துக் கொள்வது, வேறொரு விஷயத்திலும் திறமையை வளர்த்துக் கொள்வதற்கு இந்த கல்விக் கொள்கை மிக உறுதியாக இருக்கிறது. அவங்க எந்த விஷயம் படிக்க வேண்டும் என்றால், ஒரு தொழிலை கற்றுக்கொள்ள வேண்டும் என்றால், ஒரு இசையை கற்றுக்கொள்ள வேண்டும் என்றால், ஒரு வெப்சைட்டை சார் சொன்னாங்க. இப்ப இந்த டெக்னாலஜி பத்தி பேசிக்கிட்டு இருக்கிறோம். இப்ப இந்த கொரோனா நேரத்துல வெப்னேர் வந்தது கொரோனாவுடைய விஷயத்தினால சொல்லலாம். இல்லைன்னா எல்லாரும் செல்போனை பயன்படுத்துற வெப்சைட் நம்மளுக்கு தெரியாது. ஆக இன்னைக்கு எல்லாரும் டெக்னாலஜியை பயன்படுத்த வேண்டிய கட்டாயம் வந்து விட்டது. நண்பர்களே, அமெரிக்காவிலே 12 வயது ஒரு பையன் இன்டர்நெட் ஹேக்கர்ஸ் என்ற புத்தகத்தை எழுதியிருக்கிறார். 12 வயதான ஒரு பையன் இன்டர்நெட்டிலிருந்து எப்படி திருடுவது என்ற விஷயத்துக்கு ஒரு புத்தகத்தில் இருக்கிறார். ஆனால் நம்ம நாட்டிலே கம்ப்யூட்டரை பயன்படுத்தாத மக்கள் எண்ணிக்கை அதிகம். டெக்னாலஜி பற்றி தெரியாதவர்களுடைய எண்ணிக்கை அதிகம். வெறும் 2% மக்களிடமே கம்ப்யூட்டர் இருப்பதாக தகவல் சொல்கிறது. ஆக நாம் பல வருடங்களாக பின்தங்கி இருக்கிறோம் கல்வியிலே. அதை மாற்றி அமைப்பதற்காக மத்திய அரசு மிகச் சிறப்பான ஒரு ஏற்பாடை செய்து, பல ஆராய்ச்சிகளை செய்து, பல வல்லுநர்களை ஆலோசித்து, கஸ்தூரி ரங்கன் சார் அவருடைய தலைமையிலே அருமையான புதிய கல்விக் கொள்கையை கொண்டிருக்கிறது. இதிலே மிக முக்கியமான ஒரு விஷயம், ஆசிரியர்களுக்கு மிக முக்கியமான ஒரு விஷயம். ஒரு குழந்தை மிகச்சிறந்த மனிதனாக கல்வியாளனாக வளர்வதற்கு 2 பேரும் மிக முக்கியம். ஒன்று பெற்றோர், 2வது ஆசிரியர். இந்த ஆசிரியருக்கான கல்வி தகுதியை 4 ஆண்டுகளாக மாற்றியிருக்கிறது. பிஎட் படிப்பு இனி 4 ஆண்டுகள். 4 ஆண்டுகள் படித்தால் மட்டுமே பிஎட்டுக்கு தகுதி. ஆக
हेलो
ஆசிரியர் இருக்கிறது.
सॉरी सर डिस्टर्ब करने के लिए। सर प्लीज आप सर हिंदी या इंग्लिश में बोल सकते हैं सर, हमें कुछ भी समझ नहीं आ रहा। हमारी लोकल लैंग्वेज सर वैसे डोगरी है, लेकिन हिंदी और इंग्लिश हम समझ सकते हैं।
Okay, we can talk in English, no problem. This education policy is giving importance to the teachers. The teachers' qualifications must be B.Ed, that is 4 years degree should be. Nowadays it is just 1 year. Hereafter that will be 4 years degree, and all the colleges who are running BA degree, that will be closed. It will be continued by only universities. And the education started from 3 years old. The children can learn things from 3 years age of dear people. then local language is given importance. The politicians may be giving their own opinions, but education policy nowhere mentioned that Hindi should be implemented or Sanskrit should be implemented, nothing. Wherever the state is implementing, that local language is given importance up to the 8th standard. Then the second language will be English. That language will be as their preference. If the children Hindi, they can learn Hindi. If they want to learn Sanskrit, they can learn Sanskrit. It is left out. No way it is compulsion to learn any languages. Apart from that, the Chemmoli, they are saying that out 18 languages will be given importance. If any Rajasthani wants to learn Tamil, they can learn Tamil. If Tamilian wants to learn Marathi, they can learn Marathi. No problem at all. So this education policy is giving freedom, wide freedom to the children. There is a word says, வாய்ப்புகள் கிடைக்காமல் வாழ்க்கையை தொலைத்தவர்கள் அதிகம். Without getting options, without getting preference, without getting any options, the people have lost their life. There are a lot of people who are not getting chance to going to the school. Even if they go to school, they did not get food. Even if they get food, they did not get books. So everything will be assured in this education policy. From school to college, all the students will be protected by giving clear educations, food and proper knowledge and applications. Then very important point of this education policy is that after studying any classes, they need not search for job. This education policy is mainly not for searching job, it is for giving job to the others. So creation of the job is very important in this country. That is the very important point here. Everybody after finishing engineering, even after finishing MBBS, people are searching job. They don't want to give job to the others. But this education policy assured that if a person is going to the university to study for his degree, definitely he will have the enough knowledge of creating own industry or job in the field they are studying. So education policy is not the simple things. So in which country education is strong, that country need not bother about any development. So country will develop automatically. That is a very important point here. Apart from that, the university, autonomous, all the colleges, after 15 years, all the colleges will be given autonomous. Nowadays, all the colleges are affiliated to some other university. So the university, whatever they are saying, they got to follow. But this policy says autonomous will be given to the college. So the college can decide the mark, standard, syllabus, everything they can decide. So according to their design, mark, standard, that college name will be popular among the students. Now the IIT is popular, IIT Chennai is popular, IIT Kanpur is popular. Why? Because they are designing their concept, their syllabus, their research and everything. Their placement also very important nowadays. So autonomous will be given to the colleges, they can decide. So 100% freedom to the colleges, they can decide their work. So simply they cannot give degree. Nowadays, people are, we can read in our paper also, now by getting money, they are issuing a degree. Nowadays, that is not, hereafter, that is not possible. If a college want to have a #1 college in their state, they go to design their own standard. There is very good freedom to the colleges also. So students can select the colleges according to their merit. Very important, after 10th standard or 12th standard, national level test will be there. There is a check also will be given here for teachers. There will be national testing agency, they are conducting teaching eligibility test. So those who are qualified in that test only, they are qualifying for teachers post. So teacher standard will increase, then subject knowledge will increase, teaching ability will increase, student knowledge will increase, student analytical things will be increased. So schooling system will be improved like anything. Tell anything, all by a person can have a different post. He can be a father, he can be a teacher, he can be a politician, he can be a prime minister, he can be anybody. You leave everything, just two things. As a father, as a teacher, if you see the education policy, this education policy will have a greater impact on the students, teachers. As a father, if I'm a father, if I want to send my son to the school, if this education policy, if I read this 174 pages of the education policy, really we need not bother about our children. As a teacher, if you read that education policy will have enriched knowledge to the students. That is very important nowadays. Everybody knows India education system is free. Why everybody is this MBA is bothering to write? Why? Our Tamil Nadu, particularly Tamil Nadu students are suffering. Why CBSE they are going to join the CBSE school, ICSE school, state board school children are not able to pass in the NEET exams because standard is low. Everybody knows. As a father, we know everything here. We are sending our children to the CBSE school because we are dreaming about the NEET exam and everything. IIT, JEE, like that we are dreaming. So we are not sending our children to the state board because state board system is that's why Tamil Nadu education minister has changed the syllabus equivalent to the CBSE or more than the CBSE. They with Uday Chandran sir, they got did. So what I'm saying that the education policy is implemented in every state. By 2030, all the states have to be implemented. This education policy system will have very good impact in our children's futures, no doubt about it. Because they have to think, they have to analytical thinking will be there, they have to do research. Based on that, rank will be given. Grade system only, there will be any mark. Grade system only will be given. So, by this education policy have come out with all the past experiences only they have done this one. Whatever the states, wherever we are lacking behind in the education, particularly the education system, they have pointed out, they have invited all the commands from across the country, they pointed out, they discussed, they designed very nicely this education policy. So, compulsory education is given. So, there will not be any dropout. By 2015, there should not be any, the 2030, there should not be any dropouts. In college also, that's college registration should be up to 50% they are saying. So, students after 12th standard, they have different wide range of selection of the colleges. She told me if I'm studying a vocational course, I got to go to BCom nowadays. But after this education policy implemented, if a person is studying commerce, he wants to study some other courses, he can select. That test will be conducted by national level. He can select any subject if he is interested. That subject he can write, if he pass, he can select any colleges according to the merit of the colleges. So that freedom given all over the country. If the person is Tamil Nadu, he can round in Tamil Nadu only. If the person is Rajasthan, he can round in Rajasthan only. He will not come to Tamil Nadu. But this education policy is giving from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, he can select any colleges according to their merit, according to the mark, according to the standard of the college. So that freedom is given by this education policy. We did not get that policy. There's a chance. So, friends, this education policy, as a father, I'm saying, as a father, as a teacher, this education policy is very important. Local languages has been given much importance up to 8th standard. 5th standard, they go to learn their own language only, mother tongue only. Up to 8th standard, other language, that's English can be given, no problem. So he can learn third language, any language he can select, no problem. There is no word there, compulsory Hindi, there is no word. He can select any languages, no problem. If a person wants to learn Samskritam, what is the law? He can learn Samskritam, what is that? See, Tamil people are suffering, Malayali people, they know Hindi very well. If they go, they are living everywhere. But Tamil people are suffering without knowing Hindi. I know very well, I studied in Mumbai. Tamil people suffered without knowing Hindi. But our politicians, they will play a different game. But as a father, as a human being, everybody should know languages very nice. A former Prime Minister Narasimha Rao, he knows 18 languages, they are saying. Proud of him. So everybody should know the languages. Without knowing any languages, we cannot do anything. Even Tamil also, we have to know the language, how to communicate with the people. So, this education policy is giving freedom to learn the languages, to learn the different skills, to learn the subject, thorough knowledge, with thorough knowledge, not just to mark up and writing in the exam papers. With thorough knowledge, concept, analysis, theoretical, everything. Practically, they have to know the things. So, friends, this educational policy is our guest speakers, they are waiting. Just I want to give felicitations only. Since Saris was not available, Balagabalan sir now is available, I think. So, my sincere and thanks to our FOB Chennai Joint Director, our Kamra sir, Balagobal sir, Karina madam, and Hemulada madam, Karmala sir, my friend Chandrasekharan. Really, he is very sportive man. He is very interested in all the programs. He is organizing very nicely. FOB Coimbatore, my sincere thanks to all of you for organizing this wonderful program. I am thank you.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Can you hear me now? Karina ji,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, you can join.
Yeah.
Okay, sir, you can present now, sir.
No, mute. He is muted, unmuted. Ask him to unmute. Sir, Balagopal sir, kindly unmute yourself, sir.
Unmute.
This is not audible.
Sir, unmute yourself.
Unmuted.
Sir.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes,
Yes.
Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
yes, sir. we
Okay.
can-
Shall I start?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes. Mr. Kamraj ji, Mr. Kamraj Jayaraman ji, Madam Karina ji, and other respectable guests, and the respectable audience also. It's a program. Now the current topic that everywhere the discussion is on national education policy, because through this policy, the government of India, wants to make us a knowledge superpower, because we are creating knowledge societies in the country. Through this education, India, a global knowledge superpower. That is the aim of the government. That can be easily done. We can achieve this by government have wanted this to be achieved by 2040, but by 2030 we can be the real global knowledge superpower, because the SDG of the UNDP, Sustainable Development Goal, this education is the fourth one, and the Sustainable Development Goal has to be achieved by 2030. And the government of India, this national policy, they want to, government wants to ensure education for all, the universalization of education, conceived by Mahatma by 2040. But even before that, we will achieve. That is different. And the two earlier attempts, bringing these policies, education policies in 1968 and 1986, we could not complete, we could not go as per the dreams of the policymakers and of the policymakers. But however, we are marching ahead. That's why I am confidently saying that by 2030, India will be the knowledge superpower. It should be. And this universalization of education, that is a stress. Universalization of education from preschool to secondary level with 100% gross enrollment ratio, GER. That is our target in school education by 2030, to bring 2 crore out of school children, because out of school children are growing. The school dropouts are growing. That we have to change. And children back in the mainstream through an open schooling system. Because we have to go for an open schooling system. In fact, I was the advisor, just only left, but it is continuing. Open school, national open school, I was advisor for 13 years, 2 or 3 terms. In fact, open school system is giving much importance to skilling. The present policy, the present national education policy also wishes us skilling the youth. From 6th standard, they are emphasizing on skilling the children, skilling the students. And that too through internship also. Because we are national economy, because we want to build an economy that is similar to our China or America. So we have to build up an economy. We have to use the Gandhian philosophy, Gandhian economics, that every home a production center. To make every home a production center, we must have micro enterprises. To have micro enterprises and entrepreneurship, we need an education policy that emphasis on skilling the youth. That is why in our present policy, government is stressing the skilling. Because recently our Prime Minister, therefore 3 days back, while inaugurating the national skill development mission, he was inaugurating the 5th anniversary. He was telling skilling, reskilling and upskilling. That's a need. Skilling, reskilling and upskilling. I'm using the word of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, because the government policy, that's why, stressing on skilling the youngsters along with the formal education, because none of the students should drop out from the school education. They should be brought back, and they should be brought back from literacy. From literacy to the higher education, you have to bring everybody without caste or creed. We have to bring them for education. They have to be given education, empowered with skilling. That is the stress of the policy. That is the main stress of the policy, according to me, because this is the need of the day. We need economical strength also. India should also grow as one of the economical, our strength should be through economics also, because we need we need resources for achieving all our requirements, because India should excel. By 2030, India will be one of the developed state of the country, developed state of the world, because that should be our motto, to make it a development wonder. To make India a development wonder, everybody should have knowledge. Everybody have to the knowledge. Only through knowledge that we can achieve our target. Of now we are going for 3 million economy, but we must go for the economy practiced by China and USA. Then only we will be the superpower. That can be achieved only through knowledge. That's why the government of India stresses of building, of organizing knowledge societies in the country. We want to build knowledge societies. Then only we will be a global knowledge empowerment, knowledge superpower. Knowledge superpower, because now fortunately in our country, the what you call it, as per the statistics published by Niti Aayog, 55 years people, youngsters, they are considered the youngsters. They are having the 68% in our population. They have to be given job. They have to be given resource after education. They have to be given education. They have to be given proper education. Through proper education, they should be given skills. The knowledge of to develop it. then only we can go for starting micro enterprises. Because Indian labor force, these youngsters, Indian youngsters are the best in the world. The world will make India as a, while making India as a knowledge hub, they will make India as a place to make their own goods. What China is practicing, all the Chinese goods are made in China, and they're assembling it there, and they're putting their brand name and selling it. We must be ashamed. This is preached and practiced by our Mahatma Ji in 1937. So we must, our youngsters should be skilled properly, and they should have the mindset to take up self-employment, entrepreneurship. And the focus of this national education policy is this. That's why from the 6th standard, it is mandatory to have skilling along with internship. The government gives much pressure, much trust on these two areas. And another thing I would like to say in my presentations also there, I think it is not coming out. I'll read out some of the clips. The National Education Policy 2020 is the first education policy of the 21st century and aims to address the many growing developmental imperatives of our country. This policy proposes the revision and revamping of all aspects of education structure, including its regulation and governance, to create a new system that is aligned with the aspirational goals of 21st century education, including SDG 4, while building upon India's traditional value system. Because we have to uphold our traditional value system. The world over is coming. Within our recognizing, identifying, and fostering the unique capabilities of students by sensitizing teachers as well as parents to promote each student's holistic development in both academic and non-academic spheres. This is the main stress of this policy. According to the highest priority to achieving foundational literacy and numeracy by all students by grade 3. Flexibility so that learners have the ability to choose their learning trajectories and programs and thereby choose their own paths in life according to their talents and interest. I am reading out some of the extracts from the National Education Policy. No hard separations between arts and science, between curricular and extracurricular activities, between vocational and academic streams, etc. In order to eliminate harmful hierarchies among and silos between different areas of learning, because this policy is giving much emphasis in technology development. Everybody should have the technological skill. The students should have the technological skill to to assemble, to manufacture, and other items, other valuable items. Even the aircraft can be produced in India by our engineering students and other type of aircrafts, aircrafts and weapons. All these things which we are importing from other countries should be can be manufactured and assembled here. Like that, we will be one of the biggest economy. India will be one of the tallest economy of the world. That should be achieved. That education stresses on that only, because all types of technology has to be imbibed by our teachers and students and parents, and they must practice it. Not only learning, they must practice this technology in their life to have a better life and to have a better better also. And then science, social sciences, the multidisciplinary and holistic education across the science, social sciences, arts, humanities and sports for a multidisciplinary world in order to ensure the unity and integrity of all knowledge. Conceptual understanding rather than rote learning and learning for not for eroding and learning for exam. We don't want to we don't want to write exams and degrees. Recently, we were, for the last 5 years, we used to say that in India, lot of engineering colleges have come. There's self-supporting, what is it called? Self-financing engineering colleges. Students are coming. Now, all these self-financing engineering colleges are closed because of our education system. As per the previous education system, from the engineering colleges, only from the engineering colleges is giving 20% students, they are getting a pass mark. 22% students are getting pass mark. Whereas those students who have been awarded degrees, out of that, only 7% are employable. Only 7% are employable. That pattern. That's why all engineering colleges are closing down. Engineers, they don't have work. They don't have job opportunities. That has to be changed. Otherwise, they will make halla in the country. So we have to adopt a policy that a new education policy is protecting this type of what you call unskilling the engineers. Engineers should be given proper skills. They should conceive. They should imagine that type of education system is being introduced through this policy. That will be achieved by 2040 is the actual government figure given by the government. But according to me, with our infrastructure, present infrastructure, and with our knowledge empowered people, we can achieve. Because the country, the 130 crores people, if they are ready to take up this task, no country in the world can touch us, because we will be the superpower. In all terms, we will be the superpower. And this policy says creativity and critical thinking to encourage logical decision making and innovations. That innovation is one of the core sector where we have to do wonders. That we can do through this education policy. Ethics and human and constitutional values like empathy, respect for others, cleanliness, courtesy, democratic spirit of service, respect for public property, scientific temper. Panditji said, every student should have the scientific temper, liberty, responsibility, pluralism, equality and justice, promoting multilingualism and power of language in teaching and learning. My friend was telling, because everywhere you can choose any language, but emphasis on mother tongue. Better to learn and grow with the mother tongue. Through the mother tongue, we can learn everything. All the technological words. Now, the government has invested a lot of money to make technology easier and to be practiced through mother tongue. So, in mother tongue, there is no compulsion that it should be in Hindi or English. In your own language, your mother tongue, or you can choose anything. One of the stress and one of the focus of this policy, and life skill, that is another thing. Everybody should have the life skill education. Life skill, unless we have this life skill education, the growth will not be uniform. Life skills such as communication, cooperation, teamwork and resilience. Focus on regular formative assessment for learning rather than summative assessment that encourages today's coaching culture. That is extensive use of technology. That is a stress. Extensive use of technology in teaching and learning, removing language barriers, increasing access for their young students, and educational planning and management. Respect for diversity and respect for the local content of the contest in all curriculum, pedagogy and policy, always keeping in mind with education is a concurrent subject. Full equity and inclusion as the cornerstone of all educational decisions to ensure that all students are able to thrive in education system. Synergy in curriculum across all levels of education, from early childhood care and education to school education to higher education. Teachers and faculty as the heart of the learning process. Their recruitment, continuous professional development, positive working environments and service condition has to be ensured. A tight regularity regulatory framework to ensure integrity, transparency, and resource efficiency of the education system through audit and public disclosure, while encouraging innovation and out-of-the-box ideas through autonomy, good governance, and empowerment. There is a need, because through transparency and through innovative methods and through technological technology use, and now the IT system, the IT system has so much developed that through this system we have to make a regulatory method, and we have to watch the progress and watch the performance of the teachers and the teachers and professors of colleges, schools and colleges. And this regulatory method is necessary for the growth also. Continuous review of progress based on sustained research and regular assessment by the educational experts. That is the end of the day. That is a need. And occasional training as part of, because that I have to suggest. Not my suggestion, I used to say everything. The vocational training as per a Naithaling concept introduced by Mahatma Ji in 1937. We adopted for skilling the students from 6th standard. Skilling the youth is one of the main focus of education policy. Only through proper skilling and setting up of micro enterprises, India can be productive and economically strong. This is conceived by Mahatma Ji. Mahatma Ji during the 30s, during the 40s, year of 2020. So it is time that we must adopt the Gandhian principles, but what Gandhi has conceived years back. Skilling is something which we gift ourselves, which grows with experience. Skill is timeless. It keeps getting better with time. Skill is unique. It makes you different from others. Skill is a treasure that nobody can take away. And skill is self-reliance. If not only makes one employable, but also self-employable, because we want more self-employable, more entrepreneurs. We want to develop more entrepreneurs. That is why the government is giving lot of support during this the COVID-19 pandemic period. The government has given the banks to give soft loans to all educated unemployed. Now the healthcare sector, that's another main thing. The healthcare sector, because of this pandemic we saw, we need good health skilled or from workers to the planners we need, and that have a very good potential for the entire world, because we used to say the South Indian nations are earning lakhs and lakhs of rupees from the outside of the country, outside of the world, outside of the country. So that healthcare sector, now we have to stress on healthcare sector. Other than my humble request is, we must have that apart from this education that we can fight, we can change it. We must give stress on green economy, because now the coming years are for green economy. We have to we must go for green jobs. There are lakhs and lakhs of jobs which can use green technology. We need the workers, financial people, then administrators, planners, etc. for this green jobs. And our young students, because we are also doing this in the protecting the environment, protecting the ecosystem. We have to adopt jobs. The youngsters has to adopt jobs. That will lead to green economy, to achievement of the green economy. There's a need to map such opportunities and align Indian standards with those with other countries. I am closing my this presentation, and I am thankful to the audience who accepted me. And based on this, we can have discussions and we can interact. And I am happy that she is like my daughter, Madam Karina Thangamam, because Thangamam, his father is called Tengamam Balakrishnan, he was MLA also. He's a very committed social worker. He, along with my father, he was a disciple of my father. They traveled throughout the state by foot. My father walked throughout the state in foot and went to every nook and corner of the state and established 4,800 rural libraries through public participation. Nothing, no government supported. But when he finished this, and when ultimately when the literacy Kerala, when Kerala was declared as a first total literate state of the country, the entire government was behind him. He never went to the government. He started as a missionary mood, as a missionary seal, with a missionary seal. He established these libraries. Because of these libraries, the education and the value system and the cultural development we could achieve. And the historians, the British historians says that because Kerala is considered to be now one of the developed states. But even then we have this thousands of dropout children. That's a curse. So he could make literacy development because of the library movement. He established from 1945 to 1995. That's why Government of India and Government of Kerala from 96 as a government observation. Mr. Panike's annual Remembrance Day as the day of reading. And now Modi has taken up nationally, and with the support of the Government of India, Niti Aayog, they could reach all the states of the country. This year, because of the COVID pandemic, we organized everything through digital platform. There also we could achieve. The only thing is we could not reach the target of the poor, the poorest of the poor. Only those people having the internet connectivity and those people having the smartphones, we could reach them only. But by 2022, Modi has given us a target that every 300 million population of the country should have this reading, should have reading as a habit. We are inculcating reading habit for 300 million population, underprivileged population. And as per the McKinsey, by 2020, McKinsey, the IT giant, by 2022, the Indian 90% of the Indian villages will have internet connectivity. Now, online education, the colleges and schools are closed. According to the latest this trend, the colleges and schools will remain closed till the end of this year. So, but the education should continue. This way, all the governments are focusing on online education. We have to stress for online education. There, we have given P.N. Panikkar Foundation as the project, the Government of India, that by 2025, when the country celebrates its celebrates the 70th year of Republic, we will establish in all the panchayats of the country, we will establish digital libraries by which everybody, the poorest of the poor, can also access the digital technologies and knowledge, and we can reach the real knowledge empowerment. And by 2030, I am not going for 2030, 25, India will be the knowledge hub of the country, and we should be skill hub also of the country. And with these words, I am closing again. I am thankful to Mr. Kamaraj and Madam Karina Tangamam for inviting me to such a wonderful, amazing webinar. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. If I got any questions, you can ask.
Yes, sir. It has been a very It has been a very energetic session, sir. It's very enlightening as well.
Thank you.
Your father has run a movement for physical libraries, and you have taken up the challenge of digital libraries. We hope
Yes, sir.
India will become a knowledge superpower very soon, sir, by the efforts of great personalities like you, sir. We are
Thank you
happy
very
in
much.
following you, sir. We are happy in following you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
I want to discuss something here. This education policy says, this particularly for in Tamil Nadu is concerned, this 3rd standard, 5th standard and 8th standard, they have to conduct exam state level. Here there is a great debate is going on in all the news channels. So if they conduct a state level exam in 3rd standard, 5th standard, dropouts will increase. In Tamil Nadu particularly, up to 8th standard, there will not be any fail. All the students will be passed. So there is no need of worrying about this pass or fail up to 8th standard in Tamil Nadu. The second, this education policy says there will not be any quarterly exam, half-yearly exam or final exam. Semester system will be followed after new education. This degree courses, hereafter there will be 3 years or 4 years degree will be there. Nowadays, if a person leaves after going to the college first year, he will not get anything. But new education policy says, if a person leaves a college after first year, he will be given certificate. If a person leaves the college after 2 years, he is unable to study 3rd year, he will be given diploma. If a person continues the 3 years, he is studying in the college, he will be given postgraduate diploma, or if he continues 4 years, he is completing his studies. So there will not be any dropout after implementation of this education policy. So, but Tamil Nadu, the great debates is going on, dropout will be increasing if they conduct state level exam. There will not be any dropout. Even if they, hereafter there will be marked grade system will be there. Even if the grade is low, the students will not be failing. So Tamil Nadu students or parents, they have to read the education policy very systematically. Nowhere it is mentioned there pass or fail, nothing. Nowhere it is mentioned that language is compulsory like that. Local languages, mother tongue, second language, English, third languages as your wish. So this is I want to convey with our friends. Thanks, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Balagopal, sir. I used to call him uncle. Anyway, this is an official program. And thank you, Prabhakar, sir. And I request Dharmaraj, sir, to give the address.
Are we taking up any questions? Because are we taking up any questions? Balagopal sir is with us or what?
Balagopal, sir.
I am here.
Yeah, now
I am very much here.
yeah, let's
No, I am very much here.
sir, so that students,
I am very much here.
students, it's
I am very much here.
okay, sir. Students,
I want to learn from you.
have any, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Because I am learning from people like you.
Thank you. If you have any questions, kindly you can ask in chat box or you can directly unmute yourself and ask the question. The forum is open to questions now.
Okay.
Balagopalan, sir, what about in Kerala?
Kerala?
These politicians are what
No,
about
that
in
is
Kerala?
the
Whether
no because of the political the problems. There will be a lot of criticism. Let us have the criticism also, because our policy is to grow. The government of India would like to have criticism and some amendments. Ready for any amendments. Kerala government is also supporting. Now they are coming to 80% support. Virtually, they will go for 10% support also. But some changes. Yes, they require. We should have our Prime Minister also in his speech. He said there should be some changes because it has not gone to the cabinet. It has gone to the cabinet. Now it has to go to the parliament, and there lot of questions will come. lot of amendments will come. Because in a democratic country like ours, we need more and more involvement. Their thoughts and their actions and their knowledge should be incorporated. So, politically, there will be some differences. But at last, they will come together, and India, the national education policy will be accepted by everybody.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you, sir.
Anything else?
Yes, sir.
Sir, Ebenezer, sir, you can raise your question.
Yes.
Any questions?
Sir, as seeing the current scenario, the education policy, should I go for higher education studies or I take placement from college? Like that. Some students are asking.
I didn't properly understood your question. The college?
Students are asking whether they will get placements in the new, as per the new education policy, like that.
Yes, they will, but only to the knowledgeable people, only knowledgeable people, because they have to, as I mentioned, they have to be, they have to develop, and they have to go for some researchers, because students now research is not in the country. No research is going on in the country, according to me. The students and the college students especially, they must go for some innovation, and some researchers, and they will be taken up for any job, because now you see the campus interviews are going on. They want bright students, they want good students, because all these multinational companies are having placement bureaus in each colleges. They are selecting the best brains. So my request is the college students, they have to develop, there's a skill to go for some some social enterprises, or some micro enterprises, or some self-employment project. The engineering students has a challenge. They have got a challenge. They are controlling this technological aspects. So they can, through research, through innovative method, through some projects, they can develop, and they need not go to the government for job. The jobs will come to them, and they should have the entrepreneurial skill. They should develop, and they should develop entrepreneurial skills, and so that they can go for self-employment, co-employment, or wage employment.
Here, I want to say that where you are studying is more important than what you are studying. If a person doing engineering in some other colleges and some other person doing the same engineering in IIT, the IIT person will get a job. So
naturally,
is very important nowadays. So after this implementation of the education policy, all the colleges, universities standard will go up. So student can be selected the colleges according to their standard also. So they have to write national level test. So
naturally,
if they study in the standard colleges or university, definitely the placement will come to their hand. If a person studying in IIT, they need not bother about the job. So before finishing their degree, they will get job. If a person
that's why.
They will not get job.
So that's why the government, as per the national policy, they want to make every colleges an autonomous nature. With autonomy, they are getting autonomical power also. With the autonomy, they are going, so they can recraft the syllabus, and they can have good degrees where the new system of education can be adopted, by which they will get the students will get employability. They will get employment. I used to say this. IIT, the small engineering solution, ITC, no, IT? ITA, ITA, students of the ITA, they are getting employment. The students of the polytechnic, they are getting employment. Whereas the students of the engineering, because of the education system, that was being changed. That's why the government is ready to give autonomy to all best colleges in the country, so that they can develop. They can students with high skills and ability, and those who are knowledgeable. Because those who have knowledgeable and skills, there will not be a dearth for employment. There will not be any dearth for employment, provided he should excel in his profession. That's why we educate, especially PN Panikkar Foundation, educate self-employment, so that micro enterprises, promotion of micro enterprises. So students will not get, because they are not for employment alone. They have to generate employment. This education, they have to generate employment. The government cannot do anything. The government is giving you umbrella support. With that umbrella support, you have to develop. You have to organize micro enterprises. What will micro? Even or big industries can also be planned with when the friends together, because they can form a company, they can form a institution like that. They can.
Main vote of this education policy not for searching job, giving job, giving of job.
Yes, not for job. Not for job. No, according to me, the youngsters should have a research talent. They should have a research talent also for our future generation. The research talent should also be developed, because and another thing, I used to go to the different colleges, schools, etc. of the country. Wherever I go, I used to say, "What is your ambition? What is your dream?" Everybody wants to be doctors, engineers, and some. Nobody has come forward that I would like to be a scientist. Nobody is coming forward. I have gone to many colleges to be a scientist. Why? Scientist, we have to develop scientists. We have to develop technology. And we have to bring students to this, area. Nobody is going for a scientist. Nobody wants to be a scientist. That's very bad in a country like ours. Technological development. The stress of the policy, the current education policy is technological development. IT, the IT enabled services. Through this, all this, now we have a very good technological background. That has to be enlarged. Right. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. One last question for me. I am from Balaji from Chennai. I have a suggestion, like, in corporate companies or manufacturing companies and all, as per the Act, Factories Act and other Act, they are having a welfare officer, safety officer like that. Yes. So the education system is a new education system, is a good system. But whenever the new teachers and the trained teachers and all getting into the school after the experienced teacher reaching the superannuation age, they are not engaged by the particular school. So suppose for you, each school, one statutory position has been created as an experienced teacher, retired teacher, so that the teacher will take care of the new teachers coming in, so that according to the culture and the education system followed by the particular segment or the location of the school, the system also will improve, and the new teacher also gets trained by the senior teacher. Only one position. I'm not saying more positions. Only one position for each school.
That's a very good, Balaji. That's a very good suggestion. That's a very good suggestion. Because the teacher can be he can mold the younger teacher. Yes. Teachers also, because now teachers has to be empowered. They should be given all these technological aspects also. But teachers are now our teachers are very good. According to me, they are very good. But I noticed one thing. Balaji. That is, in most of the schools, I am telling you about most of the schools, and especially in Kerala and Delhi and others, because I know I used to go to Delhi regularly. I used to stay 15 days a month in Delhi. So the schools which are having strong PTAs, parent teacher associations, strong PTAs, their system of education is excellent. They are carrying the students, they are carrying the teachers also. And the teachers, after retirement, we welcome them, not as a paid employee, as a what you call it, as a honorary teacher. The PTA will give them support. All these PTAs, parent teacher associations, because they want to put PTAs are now they are competing each other, so they want to produce better result.
Okay.
So to have better result, they will hire the what you call experienced teacher, experienced personalities.
Okay.
Their experience is valid, and that has to be with a commitment, because the committed experienced personalities. EP, we say EP, experienced persons, and we say YP, young professionals, because these experienced persons, they will not work for money alone.
Yes, satisfaction.
They will work because in Tamil Nadu I have seen lot of civil society organizations. They are thriving. They are doing wonderful work. So committed social work is also necessary, so that these teachers having excellent track record, they will come, and the PTAs will subsidize their subsidize their travel and other expenses.
And so one more, one more, sir. This question I am not saying the regular question with the regular pay scale and all. As a consultant board in a nominated.
Yes, he can.
Because the school should
But
not.
the government cannot do.
Yes, the only school.
This has to be. The government cannot do as a consultant, because that has to be shown, not as a consultant, through these PTAs, the parent teacher associations.
Okay.
They will subsidize the cost.
Okay.
Balaji sir, what
And
you
I
are
am not.
saying-
I am not a teacher. I am a corporate trainer. Just thought of a creative thought has come. I just shared with you.
Yes, very good, because we need such creative thoughts.
Okay.
Balaji sir, what
Thank
you
you.
are saying, that
Yes, sir.
subject is already is there in the new education system.
Okay.
Yes,
sir.
yes.
In
Yes, sir.
all the schools, retired teachers, local experts, NGOs,
Okay.
talented people will be utilized by that school.
Yes. Then correct, sir. Then
Already implemented in that education system, new education system.
okay. Sir. Okay.
That will be
Correct.
the person will be paid honorarium by the department or board.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Zonal also be organized. So from one
Okay.
zone to another zone, the experts will be called. They will be given lectures to the students. So
Nice.
the expertise will be given to all the students.
Okay.
So here nowadays only schools, headmaster, teachers only will be coming to the school. Hereafter, all the experts in the local will be utilized for development of the children.
Okay, sir.
So it is there in the policy, sir.
Okay, then fine, sir. Okay.
Yeah, there is a question on the internal mark system, sir. Someone is worried about the internal marks, whether what will happen to that. There is a credit bank introduced in the education policy.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I would like, yeah. So that answers the question. Yeah, sir.
No, because these students having good track record, having what you call the regularity in their studies, they will get.
Internal mark will be given not only based on the.
They will be getting marks, and they will be getting additional marks, and with that they can grow. Because that's why engineering college system I have criticized. Yes. No, because I am criticizing the engineering education system. That is also now it is covered. That the students joining the first year, they don't have to write exam. Second year, no exam. Third year, no exam. Their fourth year, they will be given a certificate, course certificate. But they will not pass the examinations. They will never pass. They will be having 5 to 10 supplementaries. So that system has to be avoided. That's why only 22% of the students are passing out of the engineering colleges.
Yes, sir.
And in that, only 7% is employable. There is no periodic assessment. There is no system of analyzing the student's capacity, capability, and his strength, because he is reaching the exam hall only after 4 years. The semesters are calling, lot of semesters are there planning, but it is not in the real position. That system has to be avoided. That's why every 3 months, 6 months, there should be a evaluation, and the government should have a regulator. That's why the policy clearly says there will be regulators in the school education as well as college education. Through these regulators, this can be we can avoid what you call from 60 to 70%. We can make it a positive thinking.
Yes, sir. That's very kind of you, sir. You have joined us till the end of the session.
Thank you.
Questions of the future generation.
Because I could, because I could see very vibrant executives and teachers and corporates and trainers. I am interested in trainers also.
Wonderful.
No, if my speech, my presentation, 2% of the participants could make it, could understand and make it what you call in their lifestyle, my presentation is a 100% success. I am grateful to Karina madam, as well as our Comrade Jairam. What is Comrade Jairaman? Because 2%, I don't want everybody. According to me, there are 100 and odd participants.
Sir,
out of these 100 and odd participants, 2 or 3 of them.
No, it is 20%.
Have taken my speech. Yeah,
it is 20%. It is 20%, sir.
Very good. Very good. Then
almost 20 people have congratulated and they have shown their awe for this.
Then my presentation is 10% success. This is my what you call my very good. I am asking for 2%. I am asking only for 2%.
Yes, sir. So nice of you, sir. Hats off to your energy and commitment, sir.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Karina, take over.
Yeah. Thanks, Balagopal sir. And I hope that tomorrow through press also in Kerala also, our program must be highlighted and it will reach to the government also in a proper way through you also. And I request Dr. Dharmaraj sir to give the presentation or what to give the speech.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you for welcoming me. And it is a wonderful opportunity from Regional Outreach Bureau and the Field Outreach Bureau to be a part of this. And National Education Policy 2020 is paying such a transformational reforms in schools and colleges, higher education sector in our country. So really, this National Education Policy aims in overhaul the country's education system, and definitely India, it will become a global superpower and knowledge superpower in the 21st century, and the significant changes are expected and related to new scientific discoveries and globalization, development of astronautics, robotics, and artificial and business intelligence, etc. And this age of digital technologies and will help the students and teachers to enrich themselves. And this new education policy also will support the upcoming generation to learn themselves and adopt new technologies. And we expect schools going to change to the international standards, and really the learning theory is also going to change with the best countries like Finland, etc. Those who are in forward in the educational system. And we hear a lot of criticism in this, and even though we hope we will get a good education setup and infrastructure, this expansion of this will lead to expansion of subject of pedagogy, and the learning might be environmental approach, and people going to adopt digitalization and in making innovation. Teachers have to make innovation in their teaching technologies, methodologies, and National Education Policy should develop education society relationship, and also it must be decentralized and diversified. So internationalization of education is need of the hour. To build the teacher-learner relationship, we will be active mix of the traditional and innovative method. We need this new education policy. The combination of activity approach also we needed. And let us join together and welcome the new education policy, and hope upcoming generation will get benefit out of this new education policy. Definitely it will be most welcome, and really thankful to the government of India, the policy makers, and various academics and industrial experts who are being part of this policy change. And on behalf of myself and my this Karpagam Academy of Higher Education, I welcome this, and I'm thankful to Sir Kamaraj Sir, Regional Outreach Bureau, and our Karina Tangabam Madam for giving thoughts related to the new education policy. And thank you for giving opportunity to facilitate this special occasion. Thank you, ma'am.
JD sir.
Yeah.
Sir,
yes,
now we can wind up, no?
Yes, it has been a wonderful session. Thanks the students especially, because we are happy that we have a lot of students here who and professors also. I could see many professor names as well. It has been a great session for the student community as well as the teachers community. The purpose of the event like this. So we are very happy to congratulate who has been instrumental in bringing the students here for us. Thank you everyone.
Now it is a vote of thanks. I want to thank Balagopal sir, who has joined us in this webinar. And just like I said earlier, it may be taken to the government also. And
Karina, just a minute. Yeah, I have shared a meeting link. Again, I have shared a meeting link. It's again, it's organized by our Chennai office tomorrow morning. The interested students and professors may join. It is the chief guest will be someone who is closely related with the policy itself. So, Mr. Rishikesh will be joining us. So it will be a very interesting session again. For more understanding of the policy, students kindly note down the meeting link which is shared with the chat box. Tomorrow morning 11 o'clock we shall meet you there. Thank you.
And I thank our Prabhakaran sir also, who has joined us. He is having a good coordination with our office before I joined itself. And our Dharmaraj sir, just like our joint director said, tomorrow morning we are having an important session. Like this coordination we wanted there. Your professors and our neighbor college professors and all students may kindly help us to join this webinar tomorrow also. And I request our Chandrasekharan, Field Publicity Assistant, to give the vote of thanks.
நன்றி மறப்பது நன்றன்று, நன்றல்லது அன்றே மறப்பது நன்று என்று வள்ளுவனுடைய வாக்குக்கிணங்க இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியை தலைமை வைத்து இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியை முன்னெடுத்துக் கொண்டிருக்கக்கூடிய எங்களுடைய இணை இயக்குனர், சென்னை மக்கள் தொடர்பு கல அலுவலகத்தினுடைய இணை இயக்குனர் காமராஜ் சார் அவர்களுக்கு நெஞ்சார்ந்த நன்றிகளை தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறோம். இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியிலே ஒரு ஹீரோவாக இருந்து செயல்பட்ட திரு என் பாலகோபாலன் சார் அவர்களுக்கு விளம்பரத்துறையின் சார்பாக இதயம் கனிந்த நன்றியை தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறோம். இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியிலே அருமையாக பேசிய எங்களுடன் பல காலமாக கிராமம் மற்றும் மலைப்பகுதி மக்களுக்காக விழிப்புணர்வு செய்து கொண்டிருக்கக்கூடிய கல்வி அலுவலர் பிரபாகரன் சார் அவர்களுக்கு உளமார்ந்த நன்றிகள். அடுத்ததாக இத்துணை மாணவர்களையும் கொண்டு இந்த நிகழ்ச்சி நடத்த முன்னின்று கொண்டிருக்கக்கூடிய NSS கோஆர்டினேட்டர் கற்பகம் உயர்கல்வி கழகத்தினுடைய தர்மராஜ் சார் அவர்களுக்கு உளம் கனிந்த நன்றி தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறோம். இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியிலே கலந்து கொண்ட எங்களுடைய துறையை சேர்ந்த தமிழ்நாடு மற்றும் புதுவை மண்டலத்தினுடைய JD, FPO, FPS மற்றும் இதர அலுவலர்களுக்கும் இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியிலே நீரின்றி அமையாது உலகு, அதுபோல நீங்களின்றி அமையாது இந்த கருத்தரங்கு என்பதற்கிணங்க வந்து இணைந்த அனைத்து NSS மாணவ செல்வங்களுக்கும் எங்களுடைய துறையின் சார்பாக மீண்டும் இதயம் கனிந்த நன்றி தெரிவிக்கிறோம். இந்த நிகழ்ச்சிக்காக தங்களை அர்ப்பணித்துக் கொண்ட அனைத்து நல் உள்ளங்களுக்கும் எங்களுடைய துறையின் சார்பாக மீண்டும் மீண்டும் நன்றியை தெரிவித்துக் கொண்டு அமர்கிறோம். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
Okay, thank you all. We were not having electricity in the office. That is why first we were having some problem. Anyway, we have settled it with the coordination with our joint directors. Once more, I thank joint director and all our colleagues and our chief guest who has helped us to do this webinar. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.